Hey, AJ. Hey, AJ.
What's up, Brian?
What's going on?
Nothing much, man.
Okay.
I'm practicing for the next Batman movie.
Are you going to be the next Batman?
I'd like to be.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. I got a pizza bet for you, man. I've got an over under for the rest of the day. How many times in the comments do you think we're going to see "Told you so"?
Alexis Diaz, so that's one.
That's one. Yeah. I think we got XX Delirium there. There we go.
Yep. A couple.
Okay.
Couple. We'll see.
Okay.
See what happens.
I'm thinking 10.
10. I'll say under.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I might owe you a pizza. I'm pretty sure you're gonna owe me one. All right, man. Let's
go.
Okay. Let's start the show. This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern, live. If you're watching us right now, it means you're watching us live. And if you're watching us later, I don't know what to tell you. But don't forget, if you don't like watching us live or you don't like looking at our pretty faces, you can always go over to Apple Podcast or Spotify or streaming services of your choice. AJ, there's so many streaming services of your choice. Like sometimes I'm on Google and like I'll be searching for something and like Without Parole stuff will pop up under like podcast services I've never heard of. Like there's at least 10 that I'm like, what is this? Why are we here? And I was like, wow, Jamie, I was killing it, man, getting us on all podcast services that no one even uses. It's pretty insane. My name's Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole, and the man over here of my dreams. It's AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Monday. And I know Mondays usually suck, but that's why we relegated a lot of the news to Sunday. Because I promise you, we're going to do our best to make your Sunday suck just a little bit less. Promise.
That might be a promise you gotta keep today.
Oh, watch me. Watch me.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. Nice new microphone, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. It blends in with the background. It's like you don't even know it's there. Just like my shirt and my head.
I can never see what's on your screen ever anyways. It's so dark in there. Maybe you should be Batman. Maybe you should be the next Batman.
How do you know I'm not? Probably because
you're way too poor.
and there's no superhero suit I'm fitting into. I'm promising you that.
You traded in your mansion and your bat cave and all of your gadgets for video games.
My mansion? What? Man, the good old days sounded pretty damn good. I just wish I remembered them. Man, oh man, a little bit of housekeeping, guys. If you're a big fan of the channel, or if you're a big fan of PSVR, if you're a big fan of fans, head on over to Discord. The link for that is in the description below. That's where these conversations happen 24/7. Also, if you already subscribed to Without Parole, then you're missing out on half the fun. My buddy over here, AJ, has his own channel called PSVR Underground, so make sure you go over to his channel and subscribe and watch all of his videos too. Please and thank you. AJ.
Just like this. Watch it just like this. Yes, man, what's up, man?
The FOV is really fucking low on these hands. It's like looking through goggles. This is terrible.
My FOV on my hands is, I got a great FOV, if you know what I mean.
I think you have bigger hands than I do then. Because
I got big old bass hands, big old bass player hands.
All I can see is hand. Oh man! So, dude, there's actually a bunch of news that we were going to talk about today. There's a bunch of cool things that like we're certainly interested in like catching you guys up on and talking about. But we kind of felt like it was just more important to skip over that for the day, focus on the news at hand, and kind of dive deeper into it. On the surface, it's very simple. The news is literally 6 characters. Q1 2023, right? That's the news. Yep. PlayStation VR2 is launching Q1 2023.
Scheduled because things can change, and I think that's a big thing. And we want to acknowledge that there's a lot of people divided out there, and we understand that. And I think it's always been there, but then you bring some news like this brought to you by yourself. And
hey, don't put this on me, man. People
is all
are
him.
not
I had
happy
nothing
with the
to do with
messenger, right? I don't know. Those trust me, man. Like I enjoy breaking a lot of news. I don't enjoy breaking this news. This was not news I enjoy doing. Half the comments on the on my video were just fucking either miserable or pissed off at me, and so I did not enjoy breaking this news.
Well, the truth is, like I said, the user base is very divided over this because there's all sorts of different kinds of people. Some that are really ready for it. You and I mean, how do you think we feel? We're PSVR content creators that are having to cover this platform only. Well, we don't have to, but that's where we chose to because this is where we have our community that we built. And I actually ran a poll on Twitter. And before I get to this, let me just say that this info, was broken by you. But when people are, questioning what about like sources and stuff, we both actually have had our own sources on this, and we both had completely different sources saying the exact same thing. So if anyone's not sure about how trustworthy this is, or whether or not to believe that, there's your answer. Him and I both had different multiple sources telling us that this information is correct. So it's true. Now, whether it sticks or not, that's really up depending on what happens in the world. Right now, it seems like it's very likely to remain this way. Yeah. It's important. It's very important that we make that clear because things that we've reported on in the past that didn't end up coming to fruition. Dude, this is the most turbulent time as far as like electronics go in our life. In our lifetime. I mean, obviously there's a lot of turbulent stuff going out there in the world, man. Like we're not trying to be insensitive to that, but as far as like the topic at hand, man, shit is just going down, and it's still super hard to I can only imagine being somebody at Sony making these decisions and being like, what the fuck do we do? Like it's got to be tough. And so I want to be really clear about this, that yes, things are fluid. Yes, things are always changing behind the scenes. And that's why they haven't said this publicly yet, right? Because anything could happen. Anything could change. But like, you guys ask me, you're like, well, what do you know? You're constantly asking me, what do you know that you can't tell us? And I'm always trying to find ways to be like, okay, well, let me do my due diligence, make sure all my sources are protected, and then I can tell you the things that I can tell you. And this is one of those things. So, so I just want to be really, really clear before we move on from this, that this is the first time Sony has ever said, given a date for PSVR 2. It's not like they didn't go to developers and say, hey, it's going to be Q1 2022. And then say suddenly, so it's not like the date is like moving all over the place constantly or anything like that, So anybody who was expecting it to be one date or another date, it's just like, well, we were all expecting things. We're all trying to put the pieces together of the puzzle. This is the first time somebody's actually handed us a puzzle piece and been like, here you go. Here's the answer. Yeah, and we want to break down, before we get into the good and the bad of this news, we do want to break down like what this means overall. And this answers a lot of questions that we've had, as well as gives us a couple more questions. But if you look at the time frame of what they've done with everything, if I had to, there was a report about Sony trying to get some work done with the it was like the LCD company that they fell through with them because they went OLED, and they broke that news to us, and that's how we found out about that. And they had said that they were aiming to have a Q4 2022 release, and that seems like it. I mean, that was true. It seems like that was the original plan. And if you look at what Sony has done, what did they do last year? They give us a lot of games last year, actually, that just come out of nowhere. And then they also had games planned up to the spring of this year. And so my guess was actually kind of right, where I was saying it looks like once Moss Book 2 comes out, then they're going to completely shift to PSVR 2. And I still think that they're going to do that in terms of like marketing and stuff. They've already started trickling out news. But that explains a lot like why we've been getting a lot of blog posts, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely does. And so I don't, sorry, I'm a little all over the place right now because I know there's a lot of things that we want to talk about. Did you get to your Twitter poll? I know we broke away from that for a second.
So yeah, there's a little bit more to break down here, but so I did run a poll this morning about just how do you feel about PSVR 2 launching in Q1 2023, or just hearing about it potentially launching in 2023, going by this leak. And surprisingly, it had a little bit different results. The overwhelming majority said, wish it was sooner, but okay. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a safe general consensus of what the majority are feeling. Again, we are PSVR content creators. We are trying to make a living off of PSVR content, and it's not exactly the easiest platform to support right now. It would be so much easier to cover other things. YouTube is already a hard thing to do, and covering PSVR on YouTube is like really, really difficult.
Yeah. We obviously do, because this is the thing that we love, and we're super excited about PSVR 2, and we've loved almost every moment of PSVR 1. So we keep all the clickbait comments at the door, okay? Like, if I wanted to do something that would actually bring in traffic, I would do something totally different, I promise.
That would actually benefit you. Yeah, and I even said, I don't know if you should break this news, and you said, well, look,
dude, you and I had a discussion about it. I had 1,000 discussions about it in my head. I talked to my parents about it, man. I was like, I don't
wow.
Like, dude, I mean, like, my stomach has been in a knot ever since I decided to do this. It wasn't easy.
Well, you told me behind the scenes, this is what Brian is like behind the scenes, is that he told me, look, I've told the cats and our community that I will always tell them the truth and whenever I can. And you said that to me like on the phone. And so this guy right here like really cares about you guys and giving you the truth, whether it's good or bad. I mean, it's even if it hurts himself and his channel, we prefer good news. He will always try to bring you the truth as best as he possibly can. So, but anyways, so the rest of the poll, this is where things get surprising a little bit to many of us, because whether you're angry or upset, or you're okay with this, or you're happy about it, we're going to try to represent everybody here. We've got some positive things to say. We've got negative things to say.
Can I represent the people who are just indifferent?
Sure. Yes, I think you'd be a great fit for that. So this is where things get a little interesting, though. At 30%, the second highest voted thing, people said this works great for them. This timing.
What was the percent?
And 30%.
That's pretty high.
Wish it was sooner was 46%. 30%, 0.2 said this works great for them. And this includes people that it seems like are still saving up, still haven't gotten a PS5 yet, are need time to save for the money to get a PSVR 2 later. Well, this is where it seems like a lot of those people that just aren't ready yet fall into that category. And there's, this is the second amount of people, highest amount of people.
Yeah, and and the other thing is that like there's so many people along with people who need to save up for the new headset, which is like which is great, but like the last thing we want to do is delay a headset because people don't have enough money in their bank account for it yet, right? I think that there's also been people who have been enjoying the PSVR 1 Fold for the last couple of years and are like, hey, I just fucking bought this thing, and I'm not ready for it. And so again, it's like I get it, man. We totally understand all sides of this, but it was definitely surprising to see that high of a percentage that said this is great for me.
Now, this is the last group of people. This was the smallest amount of votes, and this was pretty surprising to me. Only at 23.5% said they were super disappointed by this news. And trust me, I am the first to understand your disappointment. Yep. I've already said a couple times, and we have some things that will hopefully let you know that, like, we hear you, that we will say some things on your behalf as well. Even, I'm kind of just myself am divided. I have a lot of optimism. I'm a pretty optimistic person as it is, so I have a lot of positive things to say, but trust me, I can get angry too. He calls me the angry internet for a reason. And so, even though it sounds like you're the minority here, we'll still be representing you as well, in the good and the bad and the ugly.
Right on. Before we get into it, let's just knock out a couple of tips here, because they kind of flowed in all at the same time. We got Larry Chu, who sent us a cute little emoji, $5 tip. Thank you very much. Scott Thorpe with the £5, saying only 131 GamesCast lives after today until Q1 2023. It'll fly by. Let's hope for lots of game reviews at least. Thanks for all the updates. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate you. We got Darth Vader, the Game Cat, $10 tip, saying, even so, there's a benefit for releasing it next year. Those who have not yet been able to save for the headset, there we go, get a head start. I, for one, need to start saving as well. Excellent, Darth. Glad you're going to be able to do that. Thank you for the support. Now let's ride the game feline with the $5 tip. Says, the good news is the delays that Sony is facing with releasing the new headset, Oculus is likely facing the same delays, which is actually kind of true, because there are actually processors in the Quest that would suffer from the chip shortages. Et.2k9.now with the $10 tip says, you did the right thing, Brian. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys, that's the crazy thing. I'm kind of like airing like all of my frustrations right now, but it's sort of like preaching to the choir when I do it here. It's like, you guys are the hardest core, like, PSVR fans, and without Parole, crew, everything. And so, like, thank you for listening to me vent, but I know it's not you, right? It's like all the frustrations come from the bad part of the internet, the part where AJ comes from. You know what I mean? The other side of the internet tracks.
The other side,
right?
Well, I think if anybody has reason to be disappointed, it is definitely us and our community, who have, we just follow we keep up to date with everything. We play as many games that look great as possible that come out, and we've been ready.
Just the great ones.
We've been ready and waiting since, like, for years now, literally years. We've been ready and waiting. So if there's anybody that is justified in being disappointed, it's y'all. And but like I said, we're gonna cheer you up a little bit here.
We're going to do our best. And don't worry, guys. As the tips come in, I'm going to copy and paste them. And then next time we have a little break, I'll read them all together. AJ,
right.
Let's kick this thing off. As we always review, games, we always try to stay with positive stuff first, kind of kick it off on a high note. And so I think we should do the exact same thing here with this news. We start off with the good stuff. What do you think?
So, yeah, let's kick things off with the good. And what is probably the most obvious thing, or should be, is that, the expectation was like around holiday 2022. That was the biggest well-known rumor at the time. Q1 is only a few months beyond that. And, like, to me, I mean, when we first talked about this, my first thought was, well, hell, I've waited so goddamn long for this thing. I can wait a few more months, right? And like, I was actually pretty chill about it when I first heard. Surprisingly, I get in my head and I thought of some other things, but yeah, in hindsight, like, it's a few months further than 2022 is what it's scheduled for. It's not that long, really.
I will say that up until yesterday, I saw a lot of comments on the channel, here and there, just sporadically, saying, "Oh, I'm really hoping for a mid-2022 release." And in my head, I was like, I'm so sorry for what's coming next.
I was sure that wasn't going to happen. I was, a couple years ago, I kept saying, yes, it's going to be this year. Yes, it's going to be this year, this set of months. And it made total sense. But again, the way the world is shifting around with productivity and shipping and all these shortages and just tragedies everywhere. Lots of things are going on in the world. And so I said, okay, I will be patient. At one point I remember saying, like, look, I'm just happy we still have VR right now, because when you saw what happened to, like, the movie industry and a lot of other industries and shops and stuff, I felt fortunate that, given the world is in a crisis right now, that we still have our headsets to play right now, getting games, and we still have one to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm absolutely going to double down on what you said. If we were we were expecting a potentially November release. You know, getting it in Q1 is only a couple months further than that. And so it's not the biggest leap. I also want to like kind of put this in everybody's head that like if if you can kind of picture, like, there's a reason Sony hasn't said this yet, because I think if you said this to people right now, which we did, sorry Sony, we apologize, like, it's sort of deflating, right? You sort of get into that, you sort of like you crush any hype that was being built, and so the thing is like I sort of see this as, if you put yourself in the perspective of somebody who didn't know this information and just kind of followed the track that Sony has laid out for the year, where they say, you know, oh, we're going to show you this on this month and this on this month and this on this month, and every month kind of get you a little bit closer to that headset. And then around like August, you know, like when hype is at its all-time high.
When it's not that far away, they say, is what they were waiting for.
Here's the price and release date, and pre-orders are open now. And everyone's like, yes, pre-orders are open now. And they click the button, they're like, oh, February? All right, well, that's not too far away because it's August, right? And so when you reveal the exact same information just later, it doesn't seem so bad. But right now, I know that everybody's like, oh, 2023 is like so far away, and it is, man. It is, but it would have seemed, if we didn't tell you this now, I think the way Sony was planning on doing this probably would have been not so heartbreaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I do believe that that's probably was what their strategy was. You know, we said that, you know, the holiday 2022 thing, that was their goal. Like, their goal was actually somewhere around that window time. I know a lot of people speculated like October would make sense. They just weren't ready, man. They're just not ready. And, you know, it just is the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. But the other
really
things,
wish they wouldn't say that.
I did too. What a shitty saying.
Terrible slogan. Yeah.
I just couldn't think of anything else. So the other thing too, I know we got some tips we'll get to in just a second, but is that by this time, you know, one of the biggest issues has been if not the main issue, has been the PS5 supply chain issue. Right. I don't know how much of this has caused a delay in a lot of things with Sony, not just PlayStation VR2. This is a cause for probably a lot of their stuff, and their primary goal is to sell PS5s at this time, and they're struggling just to do that. They can't even meet the demand. They haven't even gotten things back on shelves yet, and so by this time, with the methods that they've been able to get PS5s out to people, there will be a more dedicated install base. You look at the numbers, last time I checked, it was like 14 million, 15 million PS5 sold. But how many of those, typically a small percentage of those, as smaller are the hardcore gamers that buy tons of games, that play tons of games. You know, a lot of those numbers could be not as accurate as the active player base. So you do want to pad that number as high as possible, and by this time there will be more.
Yeah, dude. I know. Sony released some numbers very, very recently, just a couple weeks ago, and I think it really kind of puts all this into perspective. They've sold 4 million less PlayStation 5s than PlayStation 4 at this point in the same launch period, which, I mean, they're selling every single PlayStation 5 they can possibly make, right? And so at one point early on, when right after launch, they were like, we're outselling PlayStation 4 even with our supply chain shortages, and that changed very quickly. So if you go, hey, man, in their first year, they're 4 million short of where they wanted to be. I'm sure they wanted to be even higher than that, but they're 4 million short of where PlayStation 4 was. If you say, man, by next year at this point, they're going to be 8 million short. And then when you compare it to how many PlayStation 4s there were out when PlayStation VR 1 launched, at absolute best, PlayStation 5, at the absolute best, PlayStation 5 will have 32 million units sold by the end of this year.
Yeah,
so, PlayStation 4 had 40 million units sold when PSVR 1 launched. So I mean, that's a significant chunk. That's almost 25% less of a user base. You know, and so it's like
I don't compare the adoption rate, the VR adoption rate. I don't compare it directly because I'm with you, Shades, in that, like,
this has nothing to do with adoption rate, though. This
Okay,
is just
okay.
this is just potential user base out there.
Right,
How many
right,
consoles
right.
have been sold? And
Right.
I think you should talk about adoption rate and say that the adoption rate compared to PSVR 1 is going to be through the roof. Right? We're going to
Yeah, yeah.
there's going to be 10
It
times
should
as many
be.
people interested, and so you kind of need 10 times as many consoles as you had for PlayStation 4 ready to go.
Right.
And so like when you put all those numbers together, it just really doesn't work out very well. And so this will give them some time to at least get near where they need to be in order to have a successful PSVR 2 launch.
So part of that rumor was that they were going to be Q2. They were going to begin mass producing the PSVR 2 headsets. These are like pretty good rumors too. These aren't just like bullshit. These are like things that are backed up with different facts. And part of that said that their expectation was to have 2 million headsets sold by the end of the year. So it did seem like that was kind of a low number.
Right.
And part of the advantage of this is that they will be able to produce. Not only will they have more PS5s out in the wild, they'll be able to produce more PSVR 2 headsets by that time. So that's going to be a big advantage, is having more headsets to sell as well, not just PlayStation 5s. You know, take PS5 out of it, more PSVR 2s is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, especially with the way the PlayStation 5 launch went, with the way that everything's going right now, people are... Dude, it's funny because you can always tell who has a PlayStation 5, right? In the comments, there are people who are like, "There's no shortage, man. If you can't get one, what the fuck are you doing? What's your problem?"
Yeah.
And that guy has a PlayStation 5. I can guarantee you that, right? Because then the very next comment is like, "I've been trying since launch to get one, and I still can't fucking get one." And
Yeah.
and what I was just talking to Rypop, and one of the things I said to him, I was like, "In my book, until you can just go on Amazon and type in PlayStation 5 and click one, add it to your cart for the exact retail price it's supposed to be, and get it shipped to your house with Amazon Prime 2 days later, until that's a possibility, these things are not fucking in stock. And these things are still hard to find because most people don't have the time, don't want to spend the effort or the energy. They have like a life outside of video games, unlike me, right? So like those people, I can't blame those people for not standing in line or like refreshing F5 every single time there's a sale somewhere. They got shit to do, man. It's like, so
There's
you gotta
a solid
understand
strategy,
those people.
but not. There's a solid strategy to get a PS5 nowadays. It takes a little effort, and really the best thing I've seen is follow one of those like notifications, get notifications from some of those like stock alert stuff, and that's really the biggest advantage you have, or buying direct when you get like that email. But yeah, I mean, it's like you said, man. There's people out there that just aren't aware of these things, that aren't dialed in like we are, and or just need more time to save up and just don't have one for whatever reason. And so yeah, a surprising amount of people, for as many people in our community that are ready and have a PS5. There's trust me, a surprising amount of people beyond us. And I love how our chat's like, who the fuck are these people? Yeah, I know, man. I've been there with you. I've been through this many times already. So we have some ifs.
Sorry, chair faces. These peasants with no PS5.
I love we are the best community ever.
I know. Really, I
love you
really
guys,
needed
man.
a laugh today, and you guys have me fucking covered. I love you so much. AJ, before we move on, let's knock out a couple of these tips, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Genetic Feed, the abbreviated game cat with the $5 tip says, "I'm stoked with the delay and hope that they put it off longer." This is a surprising
That's gotta
thing.
be.
The hype was exhausting, and my enthusiasm would be manageably muted a year from now. Yeah, I think we got a little bit of sarcasm in that one, but appreciate
Definitely
it nonetheless.
sarcastic.
Dragoon's Eye 76 with the $5 tip says, "Sony should strictly keep it pre-order, no more than 2 units per damn scalpers."
I think no scalpers would be better, but
Yeah, seriously.
Pre-order would be nice.
Yep. Carter.
Well, they've already said there will be a pre-order, so there will be, and we'll get into that when we think that's going to happen too.
Carter Broughton with the $2 tip. Sit down, Tornado. Come hang out with me. Says, "Hope delay will help with the eye tracking issues." Do we have eye tracking issues? I think there's definitely a question mark being like, hey, these guys are helping Sony with eye tracking.
Right.
But then there was no follow up after that, being like, hey, whatever came of that.
So I'll hold on to your question because I got an answer for you, Carter.
There we go. We got Shirzad Khan with the $5 tip says, "Should I wait for a PS5 PSVR 2 bundle? Will the bundle be more available, or buy the PS5 first?" I mean,
I have no idea about that, but I do feel like the bundle will be more available. I don't want to promise you that though, because who the hell knows?
What bundle are we talking about?
The bundle. You don't know about the bundle?
The hypothetical bundle that we just made up in chat?
Yeah. Assuming they're I don't know. We don't know anything about bundles, man.
No.
There could be a PS5, PSVR 2 bundle, or there could be a PSVR 2 and game bundle. We just don't know yet. It's too early to tell on that.
Yeah, I would say absolutely just pick up a PlayStation 5 when you can, be ready, and then begin the savings for the PlayStation VR 2. Like, just take it one step at a time.
He said.
I don't think there's going to be a console and headset bundle. I just don't see that happening. But because it'd just be like a super expensive
It's
bundle.
a good idea, though.
Right?
It's a good idea.
I mean, yeah, but like they couldn't really knock much money off. They're already taking a loss on the PlayStation 5. I can't imagine they're going to be selling the PSVR 2 at much profit. So it's like, are they going to knock even more? No, I just don't see it happening. But it could, because Sony's fucking crazy. Black Ice 4777 with the $2 tip says, thanks for the content. The RE8 VR wait presses on.
Yep.
It does feel like it's been forever.
Never giving up on that.
Nope. Donatello, the Scientist Game Cat, right here with a $20 tip. Thank you, sir. Says, life is good. You can't see me, but I'm striking my Game Cat pose. What are your Game Cat
Nice.
poses, Brian and AJ? I think I just do this a lot.
That's a good question. I got to make a Game Cat pose. I have no idea, man.
I just hope that you get down on all fours.
Quit it.
Quit it. Cerebral Frost, the Boop Cat with a $20 tip. Thank you so much, Dan. Says, I heard somebody needed pizza. I mean, always, right? Thank you so
Yes.
much. Pizza is always
need
appreciated.
pizza. Is that all, Brian?
I think that gets us caught up, AJ.
Okay, so Carter asked, hope the delay will help with eye tracking issue. Here's the thing: we're still on the positives. These are the ifs. These are hypothetical ways that this could improve the launch of the PlayStation VR 2. And the first thing is just more polished product. Like, it may give them more time. When the PS5 launched, it was a little bit rough. It was it was definitely
rough.
it still has some
Where's
rough
my
edges.
folders, AJ?
No folders, no UI, or some UI issues, messiness, and things that definitely no themes, movies removed. There's definitely some rough edges with the PS5, although I love it to death. If they take the time to polish up this eye tracking thing that they got with this Toby people, add more polish to the UI, to some of the features, to some of the just different design things that they have with it, this could be really beneficial. I'd rather have a complete polished product than a rushed one that's like broken and janky or has really bad issues, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Dude, and I really do think that, especially in a time where they were like racing to get the PlayStation 5 out, like you said, obviously not quite, where we wanted it to be. Some of the things we've been asking for, or just kind of expecting there to be at the launch of PSVR 2, I will say that, like, if they're not there now that like there's all this extra time associated with it, I'm going to be really, really shocked. Like, to have the PlayStation VR 2 having its own UI, or bringing you into like a virtual space like the Quest does, that kind of thing. If that kind of stuff isn't there and we're still stuck with the PlayStation 5 home screen, I'm going to call some serious bullshit. I'm going to be like, Sony, you had so much time to get this implemented. What have you been doing? Right. And so I do like, so this makes me more confident that with this extra time that they're certainly going to have that.
At least we'll know. There's no excuse for it not to be polished. So this also gives the potential for more games. We already know some games that want to be a PlayStation VR 2 launch title, and those developers have a little bit more time now. Yeah. So gives more time for some, again, more games, stronger launch lineup. A lot of people are talking about how important the launch is, and yes, I agree that it's going to need games to sell. And if this gives developers more time to develop to get their games ready and stuff, it's going to have a stronger launch that'll benefit us.
Yeah, the funny thing is that I think most developers actually anticipated that that this thing was coming sooner, because I mean this wasn't exactly what you'd call public knowledge amongst the developer community or anything like that, and so when you're kind of like working on a game and you're saying it takes 2 or 3 years to make the game, you have to sort of speculate and look ahead and go, okay, PSVR 2 will probably be out mid 2022, late 2022, and you do this, and so and you're like, we want to have a game ready for the PlayStation VR2 launch, right? This is like, let's make up a hypothetical company with a hypothetical game. Like this is where you want to be. You want to be there for a headset launch because that's where you get the most attention, the most sales. Everyone's paying attention to your game because it's on the headset that everyone's paying attention to. And so,
launch is really critical. If you can make that window, launch is definitely going to be beneficial to you.
Well, you beat me to the punch, man, because I think that so frequently, and again, especially with developers trying to learn how to work from home and like figuring all this out, I think a lot of them, when you plan for, we want to be there for PSVR 2 launch, what happens is you slip and you end up like late in the launch window somewhere, right? But this is actually going to allow there to be boom, 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 boom. Like just like if any of those games were going to slip, it's like now they're ready for launch, right? Because now everybody had like 4 more months to finish their games. So I do think this is going to make it for an amazing launch lineup.
All right. So those, and the last thing is, if we see a huge marketing push this later in the year, that would be nice. Or we don't know. GDC is next month. There's some rumored Sony events. Obviously, my personal expectation is we could maybe not even hear something next month about PSVR 2. But I really believe, unless they're out of their mind, I really believe at some point the marketing is going to start ramping up. They're going to start doing these real events. No more blog posts. Look, a blog post is fine to coincide with some kind of event, but I wasn't crazy about the headset being revealed in the blog. It all makes a lot more sense now, whether it be to not have all the backlash of people going, well, I still don't have a PS5, or maybe there's it's that it's still a ways out, so they don't want too many people like the mainstream to think that, it's coming next month. But I do really hope if they get their marketing push, I hope it's big and grand and awesome. And that, anything else you want to add with the possible good stuff, Brian, before we move on to the big negatives here?
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Like, I think that it's been, I think, frustrating for people, obviously, seeing, hey, like Sony not only first revealed that the PlayStation VR2 existed in a blog post with no pictures, no nothing, and then showing the controllers in a blog post, and then showing the design in a blog post. It's just been a weird year, and so it all starts making a lot more sense when you put these pieces together and you say, hey, this is they knew it was going to be a while, and so. We want that big stage presentation. We want the fireworks. We want you see the back, and it sucks that we can't re-review the headset or something.
Gonna be at GDC, by the way, so that would be really nice if he's got some involvement. I know he's got a different position now, but he's been such a great champion for VR, and I would love to see him partake in some of the presentation. Like I said, I still want the Mark Cerny go up there and give us the boring 1 hour talk about PSVR 2 and why this wire makes it 2% faster and
but that's shit I didn't care about on the PlayStation 5 like tech talk, because I was like, oh my god, dude, it's like it was the most boring way to reveal something. But like when it comes to, I really feel like when you've got this, like, I don't know, it's just PlayStation 5, it's the next step up from PlayStation 4. PlayStation VR 1 was the first thing that we had like this, and so now we're like, yes, we want to see what the next evolution of that is. We want all the gritty details, or the nitty gritty, I guess, where it's just like bore me to death.
I want to know.
Cerny,
give me the UI. I want to see the UI. There's an advantage here where they have lots of time. They kind of showed the PS5. And then it was immediately out later. We hadn't even seen the UI. I don't want a repeat of that. Yeah, I don't care if it's like once a month. Yeah, I know some people are saying that they would rather just not hear anything till it gets closer. I kind of am okay with what they're doing with this slow trickle out. And then as long as it's followed up with a big event eventually, give something for us, for the hardcore players that want to know all the info, and then eventually start doing the flashy stuff.
Well, this isn't a movie. This isn't a video game. Like this is a headset. I don't know. People don't want things spoiled for them. Like, what's the deal? Like, there's so much stuff that if you make
you can't take the pain, Brian.
If you make a list, I know, right? It's like, oh, stop torturing us. It's like pit one pain every month. But if you make a list of everything that they could reveal and sort of go through it, like one by one, that's what we could be seeing for the rest of the year. The next 6, 7, 8 months could be like, hey, every 3 or 4 weeks, boom, here now you see the UI, boom, now you see how this works, boom, now we see a couple games, now we see a couple more games, and then building up to that big stage event where it's like, fucking insanity.
I mean, I still want to see. I know they're going to be saving a lot of stuff, but I want to see more Call of the Mountain as soon as possible, more. Like I said, I would love a GDC breakdown of just some of the technical stuff. I'm with it. So those two things I want to see first. And I'll wait as long as I get more information.
If they show up the first 10 minutes of Horizon Call of the Mountain for one of their events, and that's all they do. They're like, this is just for PSVR 2, just for Call of the Mountain, and they just go 10 minutes and they go, this is, and you're like, holy shit. And
looking around, showing the Tempest 3D audio and showing the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, how it's working in a certain scene.
Making sure that people know it's not a rail shooter where you go on down a raft.
Headset vibration, yes. Let your character come out, shoot the bow a little, and be like, oh wow, or show off the triggers making the thing. There's a lot of potential here, but I'm going to keep my expectations in check and say, I'm not going to be expecting anything. And I haven't heard anything either, which is not good. So, but
AJ,
anyway, so
let's get to the negatives right after we knock out a couple of these tips. And that's from Dreamcastic Channel with a $2 tip. Says PSVR 2 is old news now. Bring on PSVR 3. You know what, man? I'm with you. Let's do that. Let's just skip another generation. We'll leave Quest in our dust. Kill Artist won the Dreamweaver Game Cat with the $10 tip. Says, I'm late, but here. I just got out of a speeding ticket trying to get my daughter to work on time because the cop had a printing error. So I am passing on some pizza money to my favorite channel. Who knew that Kill Artist 1 getting pulled over for speeding would benefit somehow me eating pizza tonight?
But he didn't get the ticket, and that's the important part. Hell yeah, man! The important part. Have some more good luck and good vibes your way. All right, so for everyone angry and disappointed, we told you we'd have your backs too here. Yeah. Personally. We've said that we're both, I'm just excited to have the headset and excited to get it eventually. And I've waited so long, I can wait a little bit longer. And I know that's an easy way to put it. But now we've got the angry mobs back too. And rightfully so, man. I'm not just saying a bunch of people are just angry. They don't know what I'm talking about. No, there is a dwindling PSVR player base right now that is at all-time lows. I mean, you go to Reddit, that thing used to be booming. There's like 80 people on Reddit. That's embarrassing. They had 170-something members at one point, and it was growing. And they have like 80 people on there now that are, a few people that just got PSVR. You look at games that are coming out, and they're so hard for the developer to make profits on it. It sucks. Whenever we have new releases, aside from like Zenith, there's not a single game I've seen that has like exploded with a lot of players.
Yeah. And I mean, and Zenith exploded because it was cross-platform, right? Because it was PC, because it was Quest, because it was PSVR. Like it was, again, we ran around those worlds for quite a while. And I mean, other than GameCats, we obviously play our own server. Wave Rider is full of cats and full of people on PlayStation VR. But going through the beta and going through before we started our guild, it was definitely you'd go a very long time without running into another PlayStation VR player. So
yeah.
So I mean, so people have abandoned PSVR, man. Like
5 million people, man, over 5 million people. That's and fans are frustrated. And you said that a little bit earlier, but this is actually one of my negative points. Is that what they have done to the dedicated player base? We feel like we've always had some frustration with the way they're handling PSVR, whether it be the marketing, whether it be the support of supporting certain developers and different things, and the frustration levels are at a pretty there's a good spike right now, I would say, with just it's hard being a PSVR fan right now for some people.
I think for all PSVR fans right now, it's hard. And
a lot.
Unless you just jumped into it, unless you've got a crazy backlog, there's also the people who don't just play VR games. So we don't want to forget about you guys who VR is just a small part of your gaming life, where you're playing Horizon Forbidden West, where you're playing Elden Ring, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I still got to get to Wanderer. I'm still leveling up in Zenith. Like, it's just a small part. We play these games and we blast through them pretty quickly. Although I still need to play a lot more Zenith.
Yeah.
And so for us, it very quickly those new games feel like old games, and we're like, where's the next thing? Like, where in when you look at the PSVR 1 release schedule, it's not looking so promising, right? And so people are just falling off, I think, more and more by the day.
Right. We're not the headset's not growing anymore. I mean, there's still new people getting VRs and everything, and that's great, but that number is so small in comparison, and it's just not as much of a viable platform anymore for developers. And we have, as far as I know, we have the largest PSVR community, one of the last of the Mohicans.
I was like, it's the largest by default, because there are others, right?
There's really not any strong communities like ours. Thank God for our community, who are the best people in the world and support us through thick and thin.
For sure.
Because outside of us, there's like really nothing. It is a wasteland out there, and so we are very lucky to have you guys.
I think we've danced around this quite a bit, but we haven't actually addressed it. The fact that do we think Sony cares? Like, you and I kind of like brought this up, and we're like, let's talk about this on GamesCast. We talked about it on the phone a little bit earlier. We're like there's 6 million people who have a PlayStation VR 1 headset, and Sony sort of like, it feels like they're abandoning us. It seems like they were kind of taking care of us last year, making sure that like third-party games were coming to our platform and making sure that there was still plenty of stuff to play. But as they keep pushing off PSVR 2, and people keep jumping ship to other platforms or giving up on VR altogether, because I've heard that happen too. Do you think Sony cares about that 6 million install base? Or do you think it's just like, well, hey, that's fucking small potatoes, man, in the grand scheme of VR players?
That's it. Okay, so there's kind of two parts to this. I do think Sony cares. Yes, I think there's a lot of people there that care greatly. And if you look at what they did, what they tried or attempted to do was they gave us games all last year. They tried to give us some games this year, some really good games. In fact, they invested some. They supported developers to release the games. They had a plan, and I think maybe perhaps when Oculus Quest 2 came out or something, they got rocked, and their plan didn't. They probably said, "Oh, Saints and Sinners is absolutely crushing it on PlayStation VR. This thing's got some life left in it." And then we got Dreams coming out. We have all these great ideas, and then the Quest 2 comes out, and all of that just drops off a cliff due to the hype, the marketing, the newer tech that the Quest offers, and even with some great games, it's not the games that people have a problem with; it's the hardware, and people have been dying for some new tech, some new hardware, and that's where they have. That's where they have really struggled in getting the thing. But I do think they care. I just don't think they've made the decisions that we've wanted. They haven't shown the support. They haven't. They have really poor managing of expectations in some ways, and so at their core, I'd say yes, they care, but they haven't. You really have to really know what's happening behind the scenes and examine what's going on the front with the little that they trickle out to see that. They're not like out in the open showing how much they care and how much they're proud of it and whatever. So I don't think they're doing a good job with that. But I do think they care.
Yeah, I think they obviously care because a consumer is a consumer, and they want to make sure that they get any PSVR gamer back into the fold of PSVR 2.
It's money.
It's money. Yeah, it's money. I mean, as much as like Sony puts on a good face sometimes, and we love people like Shuhei Yoshida, who like genuinely seem to care about the fan base. The bottom line is the bottom line, and it's fucking we are dollars and cents to them. So it's kind of interesting to look at it this way and see like the Quest 2 user base growing and growing, and Sony kind of just being like, well, could we, what's going to happen between now and then? What's going to happen between now and the launch of PSVR 2? Are we losing these people for good? Or, and if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, this is going to sound really familiar because I've been saying this for a while. when PlayStation VR2 comes out, it's just going to decimate the competition. And if we lost anybody, which they did, everyone's going to come back because it's the difference that PSVR 2 is going to make is absolutely incredible. We're going to be showing people, yes, VR is great, and like it doesn't matter which platform you're playing on. VR is so fucking cool, and it's a lot of fun. But check this shit out, and look what you can do on PSVR 2 that you can't do anywhere else. Look at the games, look at the headset, look at the Sony's commitment to it, and seeing, and you know, when they talk about hybrid games, exclusive games, the Sony stable of IPs, it's almost like that force could be so powerful. And maybe Sony has a lot of aces up their sleeves. That force could be so powerful that like it doesn't matter where people went over the last couple years. That like PSVR 2 is going to be so impressive that everyone's going to be like, I fucking need this thing, and they're all going to come running back. And of course, not just running back, but like all new VR gamers who are like, I didn't care about VR, but look at this Call of the Mountain shit, man. It's like it looks as good as Horizon Forbidden West, you know. So yeah. I kind of think that's where they're at, where they're like, no one else is even coming close right now, you know, when it comes to the hardware and the games.
There's a lot of dedicated players, VR players, PSVR players that are really intelligent and they're really critical on Sony. And I think those are a lot of smart people out there. But they have to focus on numbers. They have to make money. They have to make business and revenue. And they will absolutely focus on what's going to make numbers and what's going to bring them money back versus your feelings. And so,
right.
So yes, they will turn their back on some of us in order for the bigger picture here. And I think that's kind of what they have been doing is they say, look, we've had these 5 million people. The headset did better than the PSVR 1 did better than what they were expecting. They tried to do a big marketing push on it. They got a bunch of backlash on it. Now everybody, you know, it says, screw PSVR 1. We want PSVR 2. There's a bigger mainstream audience waiting for the second headset. And they are focused on giving us PSVR 2 and getting those people that said we want to wait as well. And that seems to be what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, I think so.
The thing that we wished is that they would manage our expectations a little bit better. We said before, somebody pointed out before that, yes, it's easy for them to say there will be no PlayStation VR 2 at this conference or state of play. That's fine. Where's our state of play that is PlayStation VR 2? Or where's the announcement that, hey, this is going to be a PlayStation VR 2 state of play? Where are these things? That's the problem. And yes, they are fudging up a little bit in that regard. I agree with a lot of the cats on that.
Did you say fudging up?
Yes.
I don't approve of your censored language, sir.
Somebody said fudging in the chat, and so I took that from them.
Yeah, well,
I'm not a big. I don't curse a lot, anyways. I'm not the cursing kind. You guys bring it out of me sometimes.
So I mean, with a year to go here, I do think that, you know, if we get, you know, if we get another 4 months in and we don't start seeing these state of plays or these PlayStation VR 2 events, then I'm gonna start getting concerned. Be like, what the fuck's going on over there, guys? Come on, like it's time to bring the hype. But you know, as of right now, I'm like, well, fucking a year out, man. It's like, it's okay, man. Just get Mark Cerny on stage and, you know, read us a bedtime story and put us all to sleep. Like, let's do that first, and then start generating the hype closer and closer to that pre-release, pre-order day. You know, make sure that my hype is at an all-time high when I click that pre-order button, and I don't have any regrets when I do it.
Yeah. I really, really hope that they get the marketing together, get the marketing better this time. PSVR 2 is going to be such a better product. But so there's a couple more issues here. Is that by the time this comes out, is there going to be some more competition? I already know there's a Quest 3 in development. I don't know the status of it, but I've definitely heard about it behind the scenes. And, like, is that going to be something that's going to compete with it? You've got this Valve Steam Deck thing that looks really, really cool. That could be a potential competition. And that's where they had, and finally, you know, if they continue the bad marketing and messaging to its most dedicated players and you know, it's hardcore gaming base. You know, they have to get a little bit more in touch with the community, the PSVR community, because they definitely kind of just did what they did, and you know, like I said, we became the community because there was no like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. We had to kind of form our own community. But anyways, it will be interesting to see if there is some competition that arrives, especially if like this Valve Steam Deck thing gets a VR headset to go along with it. They're going to have some competition. The Quest 3 could be competition. There's a rise in PC gaming over the last couple of years. That could be a thing. Quest 3 could come out swinging. So they have to be careful about these things, and otherwise it's going to hurt the thing. And all this time they're taking some of these features that still might be missing. You know, the thing like people wanting wireless. Now, we know wireless is has a long way to go before it can hold a long battery life. That is the big thing, the battery life. And then if they don't have things these flashy things like backwards compatibility that people really want. These, whether you care about these or these are important, these are big, hot selling points, and they're gonna have to come out swinging with the games, with some of the features, the OS stuff. They've done an okay job. The adaptive triggers, people are really excited about that. The 4K headset, there's lots of things that are beautiful in the headset, but they need to be able to control that messaging a little bit more, or else it's going to get out of hand and just have negative word of mouth, and people are going to say, oh, it sucks, without even knowing anything about it truly.
Yeah, you covered a lot of bases right there.
Sorry,
it's all good. But I think the competition angle is pretty big. Obviously, if PSVR 2 had come out, let's be real here, right? You and I were gamers before anything else. We wanted this fucking thing at the launch of PlayStation 5. Like, that's when we wanted PlayStation VR 2. We wanted it to launch day and date, right? Just, I can buy both, man. Give us a $1,200 bundle. We'll fucking buy it. And so we've been wanting this thing we want to get it on our hands as early as possible, and we definitely said on the channel quite a bit as well that the longer they wait, the less impressive this tech is going to seem.
Right.
And so people have been asking, like, do you think that this that this delay will make the specs better, like that there'll be better specs for the headset or whatever like that, or they'll make improvements between now and then? But the fact is like Jim Ryan was on stage last month and like saying like. Yep. And so
I think the specs are amazing, man. Yeah, I think the specs are amazing.
The specs are amazing, and
4K, like.
Yeah, and really, it's like because it's a console headset. Maybe we'll get like a V2 or something at some point that may give you the wireless option or make minuscule improvements.
That's my prediction for sure.
But overall, like I think it's going to be the same headset for the next like 6 years or so. So it's so it's not. So it's not a big deal, I think, to be like, hey, like it's, the technology on, other headsets might make the launch of PSVR 2 a little less impressive. But again, it's going to be that game. I saw Old Darth in the comment say that Quest 2 killed AAA game development. And I think that's the thing that's going to be the most impressive. When the games. When you start seeing the games on PSVR 2, it's like, oh yeah, well, maybe the specs aren't fucking light years ahead anymore because we had to wait 2 years for it. But when you see what developers are doing, developers are excited, man. Like when you see like who was it? Was it End Dreams that announced recently that they had opened a AAA VR studio? Yeah, right. Yeah. These studios are excited to make big fucking exciting games, right? And like just shit you can't do anywhere else. So shit that like PC VR should be taken care of, but PC VR is pretty much all but dead unless you. That's where your Quest 2 market.
They're surviving off mods right now, which is cool. I actually like some of the stuff they got going on there, but it still doesn't hit the same as an official thing. Like what happens. If PSVR 2 gets like Cyberpunk 2077 in actual VR mode, gets Grand Theft Auto 5, Resident Evil Village, Gran Turismo 7, if and when these things happen, Callisto Protocol, once you start seeing games of this caliber in VR, people are going to flock to it like crazy. But they have to deliver these games, which I think they will. And I think PSVR 2 will be a very viable headset for a long time. And will be able to last a while and provide some amazing games. And, if VR blows up and too many people are concerned about the wired or whatever, guess what? They can release a second headset in the future where it's wireless, and they'll have a wireless option. You want the cheaper wired option? You want the more expensive wireless option? These things like this are going to open up in the future as well.
Adam does say, and Adam, I've been watching you comment in the chat tonight, and I actually copied and pasted some of yours to bring up, but we're just running really long. I will say that he says the problem is we don't have any new PSVR games to look forward to. You need things to make the time pass quickly. I think it's fair to say that at this time last year, we didn't know about a ton of awesome games that were coming to PlayStation VR1 that came out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months later. Right, and so I've really got my fingers crossed, because if you look at the release calendar over on Discord that we've got, it's like Do Not Open looks pretty cool, and Moss Book 2 looks pretty cool, and and we're really hoping that some of these Quest games make their way over. Because, dude, I'll tell you right now, man. Somebody send a letter to Mighty Coconut, because apparently my letter didn't help, and tell them to get Walkabout Mini Golf over on PSVR 1, because if that's all I have to play for the rest of the year, I am happy. That's the reason I keep picking this thing up every day, because I fucking love Walkabout. And so,
Traitor. No, just kidding.
But that's the thing.
I've been playing the shit out of No Man's Sky. Yeah, like I've been surviving off No Man's Sky, Zenith. Every time No Man's Sky gets an update, I put like another 20 hours, if not more, into that game. It's great. So there's ways. Moss Book 2 is not going to, it's not going to satisfy everybody for an entire year.
No,
but hopefully there's some surprises. Yeah. Hopefully we get some more amazing announcements of some games like we did last year. Some stuff to get to look forward to. And the more cross-platform, the better as well. So, let's wrap this thing up though. Right. You have any predictions? Because I got a couple. I got one in particular.
I predict this time next year, none of us are going to be all pissed off anymore. I know it's a stupid thing to say, but I know this is like the hard part, right? Like this is the furthest away we'll ever be from PlayStation VR2 from this point moving forward, right? Every day that progresses, we're just one day closer. Again, a really stupid thing to say, but the next thing you know, it's gonna be holiday 2022, and we're gonna all have our pre-orders in, and we're all just gonna be counting down the days, and it's gonna be super exciting. And so this more of a community prediction, more of a community hope, and just I hope everyone keeps the faith and stays excited. But you have actual predictions, so I won't keep rambling on.
So a lot of us were saying, I've seen a lot of people going, wait, I thought we were going to be buying it this holiday, blah, blah, blah. I predict, Brian and Game Cats, that we will be able to pre-order. This is just a guess, my own guess. I think we will be able to pre-order PlayStation VR 2 this holiday, and we'll get it quarter one, maybe hopefully early quarter one. I think they're going to want to take advantage of the holiday, and I think pre-orders are going to open up around that time.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a stretch. I don't think that's a stretch at all, because I do think, if I remember correctly, Jamie and I were just talking about this, and so, fucking Swiss cheese, quantum leap brain. But I do, if I remember correctly, PlayStation VR 1 pre-orders went up in June, and then the thing launched October 16th, right? So June, July, August, September, October, so 4 months. And so if it's the same thing, then yeah, I mean, if we could all start pre-ordering this in November, and hopefully get it February, that kind of thing, that would be great, and I know it would be, yes, I know it would be even better if we could pre-order it now and get it in 4 months. But of course, but with the current knowledge that we have, it's like, man, I think the sooner we
if it was up to me, I would have launched PSVR 2 with PS5. I would have had that shit ready to go.
Yeah.
Maybe no more than a year after PlayStation 5. I would have launched, even if it only had like 1 or 2 big games. That's my strategy I would have done. I don't know how many people think I'm crazy for that. I would have just let the headset just naturally grow and, and explain to people the messaging saying, look, we are dealing with a pandemic. We have shipping issues. We can hardly get PS5s out. Here's your PSVR 2. The games are going to come and just start growing that player base as much as you can, even though it would be an uphill battle, a big struggle. That would have been my plan. So maybe it's a good thing I'm not running things over there at Sony, but that's certainly as hell what I would have done.
It's super easy for us as video game fans to be like, fucking just give it to us, right? But it's a little bit different when you're running a multi-billion-dollar corporation, there's so many different ways to look at this. We just looked at it 100 different ways over the last hour.
Yeah.
But I do think man, that like I don't think we're going to have to wait much longer to start the ball rolling. I agree with you. I think by the holiday we will absolutely have pre-orders open, and I think leading up to that, I think Sony's going to do a really, really good job. If we don't see at least one thing a month between now and like October, like one big thing where it's Mark Cerny on stage.
They got to go slow though. They do have to go slow because it's still a year away.
Yeah. So let's get a pizza prediction. Killa Sam just nominated you for CEO of Sony, by the way.
Yes, let's go, Killa Sam.
Watch out, Herman. So
I'm coming for you, Hermie.
But I do think that they can certainly start ramping this thing up. And so let's make a pizza bet prediction. I think this will be fun. When do you think Sony will tell us that it's Q1 2023?
Well, I think they'll do it maybe. I don't know, man. I think somewhere between August and October.
You think they're going to wait that long to tell us? Okay, because I do think that's sort of when we were talking about this at the beginning of the show. I think that's sort of what I said. I was like, if Sony like stuck to their original guns, their original plans, that it wouldn't Q1 2023 wouldn't sound so bad if you told everybody that in August or September.
Right.
But I do, we've never forced Sony's hand before. Like that's never been a thing. Sony's like, who the fuck is these?
No, and like again, when I said the thing I do kind of appreciate, I know a lot of people hate that they're like, oh, why are they giving us all this info? I think they had to, man. They had to give us something to let us know that they were still making a headset, because a lot of people, I mean, you and I, man, we were just getting shit on every single day. Everyone's saying Sony abandoned VR, blah blah blah. No, they're not. There's not going to be a PSVR 2, and so they had to do something, which is why we get these trickles of info, why we get the PlayStation blogs. But once it's close to the actual release, that's when, or once the supply chain issues get cleared up, that's when I fully expect things to go back fully, 110% marketing and everything. If they're not completely making the right moves around then yeah, I'm going to be ready to criticize them about that too. But I've trying to be patient here, given the circumstances going on around in the world. Seems like every year there's something fucking new. But but I'm trying to be patient and understanding here. And me personally, I do appreciate them at least trickling out some stuff to us. Yes, very much appreciate it. Continue to do so without a year of silence. Do not, the silence is what kills me. When they don't say anything because we don't know what to expect. We don't know if we're waiting for something, when we're waiting for something. Be better about managing the expectations, setting the expectations, and we're not going to have a problem here no matter what you do.
So what was your answer? September?
August through October.
Yeah. Somewhere. I'm going to say it'll be more like summer months, like June or July or something like that. So if you want to take fall, I'll take summer, and we can have an official pizza bet going on here. So, yeah, because I don't think it's going to take long for this for the word to start getting out about this, right? I think that within the next couple months, like everyone will have their own sources talking about this shit, and it won't be like, oh, well, without Parole said, but we don't have anything to back that up. I think it's going to be very much like, oh yeah, this is like almost public knowledge at this point, and Sony's going to have to be like, oh yeah, by the way, here's when it's coming out. Instead of giving us a Q1, they'll just give us an actual date. They'll be like fucking February 29th. We're like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. So,
right, man.
I mean, dude. So in summation, again, we do feel for everybody out there. We know this wasn't like the easiest news to hear, and I think I've been the most optimistic person of all time when it comes to PSVR 2 news, and any like morsel of information that I get, I always take it and hope for the most optimistic outcome, and I've sort of been in that mindset for a while now, and to actually have like this information at hand and say, okay, well, this is what we're looking at now. Like, it sucks. It really sucks. But at least we can sort of like just put that in our brain and just start working toward it now and just start counting down the days. So If anybody out there is disappointed by this news, don't worry. We are all with you. Serial killer, I know that 2023 isn't a leap year. That's why. That's why it was super funny. Super
All
funny.
right, man.
Funnier than you
You know
realize.
what time it is?
AJ, is it time for 20 questions?
It is time for 20 questions, man. Oh, and by the way, next Wednesday will be, unless some crazy new news busts out, we're going to go back to covering the news as regular. We got a lot to talk about, some surprise things that you guys might be excited for.
When is this? When are we talking about surprise things?
Wednesday. But first, we got to do 20 questions for tonight. It is your turn to pick a game. Do you have a game chosen, Brian?
I do, and there it is. Look at that. Yep. Are you ready?
All right, cats. Let's do this.
All right, I got a game up here, right in my mind's eye. It's a PlayStation VR game. That's a freebie. And you guys please help AJ with 20 yes or no questions to help him figure out what game it is. I'm going to put 6 minutes up on the clock and go.
Does it have move support?
Yes.
All right. Does it have DualShock 4 support?
No.
Moves only. That's 2. All right, what do we got? Is it a sci-fi game?
So, I mean, the answer is yes, but that won't help you. Like, it's not overtly sci-fi.
Is there shooting in this game?
Not to the best of my recollection, no.
Okay, it doesn't sound like there's shooting in this.
No.
Let's see here. Is the game cartoony?
No. I wouldn't
Not
call it cartoony.
All right, that's 5. Okay. Is it based on an existing IP?
It is not based on an existing IP.
Okay. Let's see. Are there lasers in it? I like it, serial killer.
Are there lasers in it?
Yes.
I don't believe.
Sometimes you got to think out of the box.
I don't believe so. No, that's not ringing a bell.
Did I ask if it was a puzzle game?
You didn't ask if it's a puzzle game.
Atmos VR. Is it a puzzle game?
There might be some small puzzles in it, but I think when you think of this game, you are not thinking puzzle.
All right. That's why you're one of my lieutenants, Atmos. Is it... Let's see. So you said there's some sci-fi element to it, but not many. Is there combat in this game?
No. Let's just go with no.
Okay. Let's see here. So it's little small puzzle elements. Did it come out within the last 2.5 years?
2.5. You got to give me a date. Like, I mean, I can't do math.
Oh shit! All right, just 2 years.
In the last 2 years, no. That's 10.
Okay. So it's not. There's no combat in it. Elements. Can you die in this game? Asked Nihilus Ryan, the game feline.
Yes, you can, Niles, around the game feline. You can die.
Okay. You can die in this game.
It's 11.
Has it been on the top 25? I like it, Chairface.
So funny. I was just trying to figure that out. I'm pretty sure it hasn't. If it ever was, no. I can't remember it being on the top 25 now.
I love the question, Salvador. Is it chapter 1? But I'm not asking that because I feel like there's so few chapter 1 games that obviously never got a chapter 2 as well. So it's never been on the top 25. Did it come out the first year of PlayStation VR?
No, it did not.
Okay, so it's somewhere in the middle. Dang it, man. These are the toughest ones. All right, because there's so many games that came out. Is there racing in this?
Nothing you would call traditional racing. No.
Okay. Nothing you would call traditional racing.
If it helps, and it probably will. You're racing against clock.
Like a time. Yeah, I was thinking that.
But it's certainly not racing. Like you're not racing.
Right. So there's like timed stuff.
Yeah.
Time stuff. Did I ask if there's multiplayer?
You didn't.
Is there multiplayer?
There's not.
Okay, shit. Should have asked. So it's got move controllers. It's got like little timed quest kind of stuff, or timed challenges, if you will.
You got a minute and a half left and 6 questions. 5 questions,
Okay.
I guess.
Let's see. Oh, ooh, I like that. I like that. All yours. Cookie crumbling. Is this game? Is there a lot of like slow motion, or do you save people in this game?
No.
Don't save people in this game, so it's not just in time. That's a good one though.
Yep. Only less than a minute left.
Less than a minute left. Okay. Do you cook in this game?
No.
Is it? Let's see. There's no shooting. Oh, yeah. I've done To the Top before. Is there climbing in this?
Like ladders and stuff, but like like scaling rock surfaces and shit.
Scaling rock surfaces?
No,
and
no,
shit?
you're not scaling. You're not like climbing rocks.
Oh,
and stuff.
okay. There's
You're
like ladders.
there's like ladders and stuff, but that's it. Nothing crazy.
Okay. Is there full locomotion?
Yes, there really is.
Cool. Is it underwater at all? Swimming?
Yes, part of it is underwater. You got what? You got to guess. 10 seconds.
Is it? Oh, it can't be Triton Down. They've made other stuff. Is it Freediver Triton Down?
It is Freediver Triton Down.
Yes.
Who
Barglesoft, you saved my ass.
Seriously,
you
saved your ass. You were nowhere
right there,
near
man.
that. You were
Oh
nowhere
my
near
God.
that. How did?
I know.
That's
I know.
amazing.
Oh man, dude, what a great locomotion system that game has.
Do you know that guy's Will played it with just by pushing the button? He didn't do the whole like.
Oh, Will, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Yeah, and I'm glad you got it because now that I think about it, when you said climbing, it's like you're not climbing, but now I think about the locomotion system more. You're very frequently like grabbing onto rocks on the ground and pulling yourself, especially with strong currents and stuff. But that's still not climbing. That's just a great locomotion system as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad you got it, man. I had a lot of fun with this game.
I liked it too. I definitely recommend it when it's like $5 or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was only 15 at launch, right?
Yeah. The last stream I did of it too, I was like holding my breath in between grabbing those little things. There's some VRAF stuff in there,
Yeah.
The locomotion system, and then like grabbing the mask and getting like oxygen, and there's some really, really cool things. I wish it was like a full adventure game. I wish some more people would use some of the mechanics because it is amazing.
I wish they'd make a follow up to this. Because the sci-fi crap that they added in the story is like just so dumb. It's like such throwaway.
Yeah, so tacked on.
They should have kept it realistic.
Yeah, but you can get the rest of it by listening to their audio logs.
Which is so dumb, man. It's like as much as I respect these guys, just come on, no. This game deserves a sequel, a full-fledged sequel, not like because this only took like what 2 hours or something from beginning to end, 3 hours.
Yeah,
maybe.
Love you, cats. Thank you, bailed me out.
Big time bailed them out. Good job, everybody, and I guess good job, AJ. And guys, I just want to give a quick shout out here. Thank you so much to everybody who supports the channel. Like, you guys were super generous today, and really, really appreciate your help keeping the lights on. It's going to be a long year, man, while we wait for PSVR 2. So we're going to be doing our absolute best to keep everything up and running as well as it always has been, if not better. So thank you very much for your support. Don't forget you can also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/withoutparolegames, and join our Discord. The link for that's in the description below. And we can't forget all the people that help this channel run. Not only AJ over there at PSVR Underground, subscribe to his channel, but also Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, who does all the timestamps. Jamie who gets us up on all sorts of podcast services that I've never heard of before. And Hibsy, who takes care of our news channel. Dude, and real quick here, I want to give a shout out to Josh because despite the fact that I was supposed to get this VR Focus magazine, I never actually got it in the mail. This is the one with the Without Parole print ad in it, and I never would have seen it if you didn't send it to me in the mail. So thank you very much, Josh, for doing that. Here it is. For anybody who didn't see it, here it is. Look at that. It's all glossy and shiny and Look at that. I spent lots and lots of time making that, and I never saw it, and I would never would have.
We're in a magazine, guys. Woohoo!
Right? We even advertised a website that doesn't exist yet, just in case. Who knew?
There's even cats that are mentioned in there. So thank you for being part of the community.
That's right. Like a bunch of cats have their quotes in here telling us what a great job we're doing from like 2 years ago. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you. Thank you to everybody who hung out in the chat today. Thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you to everybody who sat back and watched the show and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much, sometimes more than the people who talk, man, because the people who talk don't always say the nicest things. But we love you so much, and I think we got to fucking cue the cat. Let's do it.
Cue the cat, Brian, because we will see you Wednesday. Have a wonderful night. To Dan Kiefer says, sweet. I don't know what he's talking about, but I agree, homie. All you are is the cookie crumbling. Oh, always on time and always on point. That's why I like you, homie. Johnny No Pockers, a.k.a. the Who Dat Game Cat.
Yeah,
Ben Dawson, thank you so much, man. He says they printed it backwards. I guess it was backwards when you showed it.
Yeah.
Wow, attention to detail, might
Seriously.
I say.
By the way, I'm really right-handed. I know you can't tell from the video because I'm always using my left hand.
Move Master Mick, the shape throwing PSVR game cat says, throw them shape, folks. Listen to Move Master Mick. Got some definitely interesting Alvo news to share soon. Very soon.
If anybody knows that Alvo news, Move Master, why can't I say his name? Mick already knows.
Darcy the Balkan Cat says, next stop, Playboy. Brax, bro, thank you so much, man. Gabriel 004, the license meow game cat, meow, 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 meow. Shion, the Shinobi Cat, says, we need more blog posts. I agree, man. I'll take some more blog posts. Oh, yeah. JC, the inimitable, dual-wielding, ass-kicking game cat. Some blog posts that coincide with some events, please. Alberto Mapom, the game gato, says, W for the win. Mark Pringles Leaf, what is up, homie? Genetic B, the abbrev game cat, says boop, boop, boop. Wild Hour, the game cat, what up, man? Game on. Wild Hour's playing No Man's Sky right now. Yeah. I'm with you, man. Alejandro, hello. Mark Smith, thank you so much. Salvador, peace out, homie. All of you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. RG and Neon Groove and Vargo Soft, thanks so much again. And you too, Dark Angel and Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry. See y'all.